All right. Let's see if it starts broadcasting on Justin. We're going to try to edit this part out, but just in case we're not able to, hello everyone who's watching the recording.
Is that the...
I need to pull up my chat. I've got the chat.
Change the camera angle.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Okay. How's that?
There we go. See?
Oh, yeah. You can see the snowball in there pretty hardcore. All right. How's everybody doing?
We're in widescreen format.
Yeah. Forgive me, everyone, while I monkey around with some settings here. We are trying a new broadcasting thing, kind of behind the scenes thing, but it's to improve the quality. We should be broadcasting in 720p, something that has never been done before in a right time broadcast, so that should be cool. How's it look? Is it looking good? Okay. I hope we have enough bandwidth to do this. I didn't get to test it from home. I've been testing it from the shop, but we got faster bandwidth there. Everybody, we got, first off, it's Right Time. It is November 14th of 2012. Right Time is a live broadcast that we do here in our home. We are Brian and Rachel Goulet of the Goulet Pen Company and Ink Nouveau, and we do this every week.
Yeah.
Now, again, took about a 6-month hiatus, but we're back and trying to step up our game a little bit. So here we are. And on the phone, joining us tonight is a very special guest by the name of Brian Gray of the Edison Pen Company.
Hello, everybody.
Can you all hear Brian okay?
How's my audio? Testing 1, 2. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah, he's going to sound like he's in a tin can because we've got a very low-tech setup here with the old call in and play through the microphone, but there you go. No, I'm sorry, we don't have a picture of Brian to show you, but he's got a bunch of videos and stuff out there on YouTube.
All right,
Sounds good, loud and clear.
The audio is coming through good, so...
Good. Yeah,
if anybody cannot hear me well, then just pipe up in the chat and we'll get it fixed.
All right. Yeah, you can Google him. You can look up his website, see what he looks like. Look him up on Facebook, whatever.
Yep.
So, how was the Ohio show? Right in your backyard?
Yeah, fantastic. We had a great time. We got there on Friday morning and then stayed until Sunday late. We actually were breaking our 7-year-old into pen shows now, so we can't take him to, like a 3-day pen show because, honestly, it's so exhausting for us. 8 hours, 9 hours a day at a pen show, and then dinner with our friends in the evening. So we don't want to subject him to 3 days of that. But my parents watched him on Friday, Saturday, and then brought him down for the show on Sunday, and he had a blast. I can recommend to people, obviously, get yourself to pen shows because they're just awesome. But also bring your kid. The PCA, the Pen Collectors of America, is an association that puts together a Pens for Kids presentation. And I did a little blog post about it not too long ago, but Andrew had a blast, not just checking out all the pens and the shows and our friends and everything, but the PCA presentation is really cool. So obviously it's important to have the younger generation excited about pens if we want this hobby to survive. So
absolutely. Yeah, I saw some of the pictures online. He looked like he was having a good time.
Yeah, it was neat. So yeah, thanks for asking. The Ohio show was great.
Good, yeah, and that's the last one for the year, right? You get to hang up your pen show hat.
Yeah, but you know what? Philadelphia in January just seems like it's right around the corner. So
That's true. You'll have the holidays, and then that'll be here before you know it. So. But the reason we're having you on here tonight.
Want to get right to it?
Should we hang people in suspense? I don't want to get caught up because we do have another guest, Wayne Mullins, who's going to be on at 9:30.
Yep.
So I don't want to get too
I was
behind.
looking at the topics to make sure. Oh, you didn't.
The only topics we have are introducing this pen and talking to Wayne. So I left it pretty open-ended here tonight, just in case we tend to ramble on. Not in case, when we ramble on, because we will.
And I didn't do the newsletter today. I'm doing it tomorrow because I wanted to feature what we're about to show you in it. So that's why I held off. So I know normally we go over what's in the newsletter, but since we don't have that, I'm sure there are more questions about updated timelines and stuff. So we'll fill that in as we get to it.
Yeah.
So... it's about that time of year. We decided it would be fun to do another limited edition Edison in time for the holidays.
Mm-hmm. We've done 2 before.
Both premieres.
Both of them have been premieres, and we thought it would be fun to try limited edition Encore. The Encore is the second pen that we developed with Brian that's exclusive to the Goulet Pen Company. It's called Edison Nouveau because it's part Edison, part Ink Nouveau, our blog, our company. So I have the pen right here.
Well, long story short, we spent a lot of time prototyping materials for this pen, trying to find what looked just right with all the hardware and the fancy stuff. Brian, you did this one for yourself. At the time, we couldn't do it for production because the material wasn't available in the quantities we needed.
Yeah.
But this was, as I understand, your personal pen in your collection that you fell in love with.
Now, you're taking good care of it, aren't you?
Yes, we are taking very good care of it. We have the pictures to prove it.
Yeah,
I mean, besides letting Joseph throw it and Ellie chew on it. And no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's a unique material in that I think that when we first prototyped it and made an artist proof from it, obviously, geez, that was so long ago, and that's been my personal pen since then. That's how much I love this material.
Like
but it would never lend itself to being a full-time production material because it comes from Germany. It's difficult to source, and it's also a lot more expensive than my typical acrylics. So I fell in love with it. I have made plenty of custom pens out of this material. We've used it before, but it's hard to get. And I think I managed to scrounge up enough that we can handle an order of limited editions. So
Yes.
So what is the material, guys?
The material is, should I just go ahead and show it?
Go for it.
I'm hoping, and kind of the reason we wanted to step up the quality of the video was that I was hoping that it would showcase the pen a little bit better than our old broadcasting.
Well, I'm going to make it live on our site too. We've seen great pictures.
Yeah, we'll have better pictures on our site. The video is probably not going to show the material. Well, it's definitely not going to show the material as well as it would in person or in pictures.
It's got great chatoyance.
It does. It does indeed. And as I'm sure our Right Time loyal followers will appreciate very much. So anyway, here is the pen. It is called Flecked Tortoise. And it is it's like a translucent, kind of amber material with this kind of quartz-like flecked,
semi-translucent.
Yeah,
it's
kind
pretty
of brown.
Translucent. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, quality of the video is not amazing.
It has a lot more depth and stuff to it. Now we're featuring gold hardware on this pen. So this is a departure from the production Encore. So it has the gold medallion in top.
Yes.
As Brian's going to show. The EN for Edison Nouveau.
Same. Oh, you can't really see that at all. But
oh, goodness.
It's, it's got the Edison Nouveau EN logo in there with gold. You can kind of see that.
All right, you know what I'm going to do? I just made it live on our site.
Let's make it live. Put a link to it in the chat.
I'm putting the link in the chat.
It has a two-tone.
The video looks pretty good on my end, but obviously, nothing's going to beat the nice photos that you guys took for the purposes of tonight. So.
Absolutely, yeah. When you're streaming live, you can only do so much.
And this is a two-tone steel nib.
Yes.
Not a gold nib. It's a two-tone steel nib.
Gold-plated.
Gold-plated.
So it's got a yellow gold with kind of a a steel kind of trim around the edge of that nib there.
EN for
real nice
extremely
looking.
nice.
Yes, and the nib is engraved with the Edison logo as well. The Edison light bulb there. A light bulb nib, whatever you want to call that.
And that's the first two. No, these were engraved before. We just haven't seen the two-tone before because we always had the polished steel.
Right. There's never been a production pen with the smaller. This is the smaller number 5 nib.
Yep.
There's never been a production pen with the two-tone number 5 nib.
Yes, it is a cartridge converter, standard international.
Yes. And it's
an
an eyedropper convertible as well. See, there's the converter. Bloop.
So the price for this is a little bit more than the regular. It's going to be $185, which if you remember way back then, that's the original price of the Encore before we lowered the price. So $185.
Yes.
The way we're going to handle this is if you were part of the Pearl group buy, or if you've been part of any group buy with Edison's, kind of the same way. We're going to have an open buy period. So you'll have until the end of the month to purchase yours, and then Brian will make them all, and then hopefully ship by the end of the year. Hoping for Christmas, but we'll have to see how it goes, right?
Well, we don't want to put Brian under that kind of guarantee.
No. I don't want to guarantee, but we're hoping, right?
Yeah, I think the best promise to make is that we'll keep I mean, one of the hassles that we can get, there's kind of two ways to do limited editions. One is to just make them all and then announce that we're ready to sell. And then the other way is, we've tried both ways. We're going to try it this way this time, is where we take orders and then get the materials on the way and then manufacture. A lot of people like the second option because we will do kind of almost like a documentary, if you will. I'll set up a photo gallery. We'll show progress photos. We'll show, kind of like the pens being born, maybe some video presentations. So, if you are interested in the pen and decide to purchase it, there will be a time period to where you can put your money in, and then you'll get, some frequent updates on the pens being manufactured. I'd like to think prior to the holidays, but, I hate making promises like that, especially with international shipments.
Oh, yeah.
This material comes from Germany, and it's one of my personal favorites. I'm not the type to falsely, what do I want to say, to really blow smoke about a material, but this stuff is really, really nice. I love this so much, and I was glad that I was able to secure enough to do a limited edition, because usually I can only get about 2 or 3 meters at a time for custom orders, but I kind of cornered the supplier and said, hey, can you guys do me a big solid favor, and how can you get this for me? And we got it pulled off. So
yeah, we're thrilled about it too, because we've been in love with this material ever since we even saw a picture of it, and then we got to see it in person. I think for the first time at the DC show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So once we saw it in person, it was like, oh man, come on, we got to be able to do this.
Yeah.
And we were thrilled.
Back to the timeline, though. The reason that I brought up, and I got a little sidetracked, I mentioned that the material comes from Germany. I was mentioning one of my suppliers over there. That's one of the reasons that I really want to be a little flexible with the timeline and not promise the holidays, because a lot of times customs delays can be an issue. If everything goes smooth, the materials can probably be here within about 5 days of when we are about to manufacture. So, if everything goes smooth, we'll see what happens. But, a solid promise would be mid-January. I can say that for sure.
Okay.
And then if everything goes great, then maybe before the holidays.
So the way we're going to kind of handle it is if you're ordering other things with the pen, if you're in the U.S., we'll go ahead and ship the rest of your order out now, and then we'll ship the pen for free later on when it's available. If you are outside the U.S., we can't absorb the cost of 2 international shipments, so we'll hold your whole order until the pen comes in. If you want us to ship the other items separately, contact us and we'll make arrangements. But that's pretty much how it's going to work. So we'll ship everything else, and then your pen will ship basically for free when it comes in.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we're going to do things.
And one thing I wanted to say about, a lot of people are commenting about the pictures on our site. The pictures on our site, we had kind of a challenge with those, because this material, when you put it in a photo booth and light it up, the thing almost glows. And that's because of the material. It's very translucent, and when you put a lot of light into it, the thing really kind of shines. So when I'm looking at it under a more dim lit situation here, it's darker, it's more subdued, it's more of a brown color instead of that bright kind of yellow. So, I'd want you to be aware that this pen is going to look very different in different lighting conditions. At least in terms of like how bright and how pronounced that yellow is.
The way it looks here in the webcam is probably as dark or dull as it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, our lighting here is very indirect. We're recording in our living room, for crying out loud. And I got a couple of lights set up, but this is by no means, a studio type setup here. So this, what you're seeing in the video here in terms of the color and how dark it is about what you can expect is how dark it is going to be on the darker end.
Right, but then shine some light on that.
Yeah, if you take it outside or you're running next to a window or something, the sun's going to catch it and it's going to just like, you know what this kind of reminds me of is in the second Indiana Jones movie. There has like these stones that like kind of light up. You know what I mean? In the Temple of Doom, it has these stones and they kind of like light up, and this is what it kind of reminds me of.
Yeah. Hey, real quick,
that's a very obscure reference.
That I should address. Not really familiar with these. Will the nibs be easy to change, like to the 14K custom? Rachel answered that and said that yes, the nibs will interchange with other Edison number 5 nibs. but I think that someone is asking about that 14K full flex that I'm working on with Greg Manuskin. The answer is that they will not interchange with that 14K version because that's a number 6 nib. So if the question is regarding that full flex nib, like that Spencerian nib, the answer is no. I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, but the nib is pretty easily interchangeable with other number 5 nibs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, which
just unscrew.
Now, are we making that available if somebody wants to buy extra nibs?
We
hadn't really talked about that. I kind of forgot about that.
We're offering this in fine, medium, and broad in the two-tone steel. We don't currently have.
We don't currently have two-tone.
Are you talking about extra
additional nibs? If somebody wants to buy an assortment of nibs for this pen.
Yeah, I don't have it up on our site, but I don't see why not.
Brian, would there be a problem with that?
No problem at all.
Okay.
Okay, I just need to get it added to our site. I have the polished steel up on our site now. I haven't added the two-tone yet because we didn't have a pen.
Just the same structure and just, give the two-tone option. We can certainly do that.
Okay, can do.
Good stuff. So anyway, that is the big announcement that we had for tonight.
The big reveal.
The big reveal, yeah. And, getting a couple of comments in the chat here about, being kind of a short buy period, 15 days. We had kind of set a goal of having like the end of the month be the end of the buy period, just mainly to try to get these done with the best possibility of before Christmas time as possible. But of course, that was just kind of an arbitrary date that we had set.
I mean, if
that's
the
date for right now.
If a lot of folks are having issues with that, I guess we could always extend it with the people who buy after, with that extension, knowing they're definitely not going to get their pens until later.
I think it's the kind of thing. I think it's the kind of thing we're gonna keep a November 30th as the official end date. But if you contact us pretty soon right now saying, hey, look, I really want this pen, but I know I'm not going to be able to get it until a week after or something like that, the week after the buy period ends, we might be able to work with you there. We're not going to have like some big open buy period forever and ever because we got limited materials and Brian's got to order it ahead of time. So we don't have a lot of flexibility the further on we go.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not going to have the money for the next 2 weeks, but you really want the pen for sure,
just
contact us and we'll see what we can do.
Can you show how this pen fits in your hand if you're writing with it unposted?
Unposted. Okay. Well, I have huge hands.
I can show.
So I'll let Rachel demo too. So me with the way I hold it, it's about like that. Okay. So it's the pen is definitely on the smaller side, and that was intentionally. We did it intentionally that way. So
yeah, I find my hands aren't quite as large as Mr. Goulet's. I'm 5'11". And it fits my hand pretty well unposted, but I also have designed this to post very well and to post pretty deep. So, for someone with smaller hands, unposted, it works great. If you have larger hands, then you can go either posted or unposted. I kind of go back and forth with it myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I personally post mine, just because I tend to hold my pen at a low angle. I tend to really hold far back on the pen. And for me,
everyone's asking about the balance for you.
Yeah, for me, the balance, really it's a pretty light pen.
It is.
So whether it's posted or unposted, it's not going to throw off the balance one way or another all that much, just because there's not that much weight that you're dealing with in the first place. Most pens, well, let's see here. Yeah, I honestly can't really tell that I can't really feel a lot of back weight when with the cap. Like some pens, when you have especially if you have a lot of metal components in the cap, can really get thrown off when you have it posted. But
yeah, people should know that this is an awfully light pen to begin
with.
I mean, I'm looking at the specs on your website right now. The body is 7 grams and the cap is 9 grams.
Mm-hmm.
A total of 16. It's a very, very light pen.
That is a very light pen. Yeah.
So I don't find balance to be an issue either way, posted or unposted.
Mm-hmm. Now, in terms of the writing performance of this, I've found that this nib tends to write a little wetter than your larger number 6 nibs. Would you?
I found that too. They are a tad wetter. Well, here's what I find is that a lot of times the number 6 nibs come out of the box on a touch on the dry side, not significantly, but a little on the dry side. And I like to make them. My personal preference is I like to make my number 6 nibs a touch wetter. To me, these number 5 nibs come, I think, just about perfect out of the box. You know, the nib manufacturers realize that it's a lot easier to open up flow than it is to close up flow, and or decrease flow. You know, a lot of fountain pen users have enough skill to open flow just by, opening up the tines, but not many have the skill to decrease flow. So, my opinion, I love how these nibs write out of the box. My number 6 nibs, sometimes I advise people to push a little bit to spread the tines and get a little more flow out of them. So, to me, these out of the box write the way that I like them to compared to number 6s.
Yeah, and we've got these in the nib nook under the Encore.
Mm-hmm.
You can compare them to the Edisons as well as any other pen that we have in there. So I think you'll find from those writing samples that they do write a little bit wetter, a little bit broader than their comparable Edison number 6s. We got a really good question here in the chat that we forgot to address is
where will the serial number be placed?
Yeah, so there will be an engraving, just like we've done previously. You really can't see it on this video at all. It's very subtle.
It's gold-filled.
It's gold-filled right here, and it's going to say Edison Nouveau Encore, and then it's going to say the serial number.
And it'll be like 1 of 50 or 2 of 10 or however it is.
However many the final number ends up being.
Oh, someone said there's a good engraving. Yeah, there's a good engraving picture on the website.
Yeah, take a look at the website. I hope that people agree with me. My preference is to make sure that engravings are not screaming Edison Pen Company like a big ad. I really like my engravings to be much more subtle, something that you're not going to even notice at all from a distance, but then when you get up close, you see it. So now with this one, we will infill the engraving in gold, but remember that the material is amber or goldish anyways, so it's still going to remain subtle. That's how I like it. I don't think any of my customers want, someone 5 feet away to see the screaming, blazing engraving. So I hope everybody agrees with me. That's how I love my engravings to be. Nice, small, subtle, and, maybe only the user sometimes even, knows that it's there, as opposed to everyone in the room seeing your Edison pen.
And I think this one, because of the nature of the material too, is going to hide that and make the engraving even more subtle than it has on the previous two. The previous 2 limited editions that we've done that have been backfilled, where it maybe stood out a little bit more. Like before, we did a couple ebonite pens and backfilled them with silver.
Yeah, for sure.
So
this engraving will be very subtle compared to the previous limited editions. That was gold on ebonite, and it definitely stood out a bit more. But I still like them to be small, even if they stand out from the base material. And in this case, I think people will be very happy with this engraving. Some materials like black or dark or whatever it is, no matter what you do, the engraving is going to stand out a little bit. But I still like to keep it a very small text so that it's not screaming.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's all around. It's really nice. I wish I could show in the video how it's going to look in person. This video is not a best representation.
You're going to record a video before you ship it back to Brian.
Yeah, I'm going to wait as long as I can to ship Brian his pen back because I don't want to let it go. But I am going to be doing a video on this and putting that up on YouTube and on the blog. So you will be able to see in a better quality video what this looks like. That'll kind of accompany the pictures that we have on our site. Hopefully give you a well-rounded idea of what it looks like, both in kind of like a lit photo booth situation and also just kind of in a fluorescent light situation like I have in my office.
Yeah.
So,
someone commented, love the small cap type style that you use too for those engravings. Just a little trivia, that is Copperplate Gothic Light. If anybody likes the font that generally is used for the Edison Pen Company in our logos and also the engravings that are on the pen, Copperplate Gothic Light.
Very cool.
And the one on the pens are 5-point.
It sounds like a good trivia question in the future sometime.
Oh, yeah, you know what? If somebody gets that a year from now, I'd be really surprised.
Well, we are recording this video, so they could call it back up.
Good.
But, was there anything else you wanted to say, Brian, about what you've been up to lately? We're going to have to wrap up in just a minute here.
Or anything you're working on, or anything?
There is something special that I can't really discuss yet. I just finished the prototype today. It'll be, I honestly don't know if this will be production line or signature line. So I really don't have any major updates on the Edison front other than this Encore. And, like I said earlier, this is hands down one of my favorite materials. I think that people's reaction in the chat is really positive with this. In the past, a lot of times we lean towards ebonite for limited editions. But once I found out that I probably had a good line on enough of this material to do a fairly good sized limited edition, I jumped on it and then gave the Goulets a call and said, hey, what do you think? Because I remember at the DC show you guys flipped over that material.
Oh yeah.
But we couldn't offer it in the regular production material, the regular production line,
right.
Just because of the expense and also the limited quantities.
Right.
So I'm really excited to introduce this. I've been wanting to do a production pen out of this material for quite a while, actually. I shouldn't say production pen. I've been wanting to do something that was, like limited edition or something in a production style, so that we could get it out at a lower price. If you call me and want this made out of the pen, of course, it's my standard custom rate, which is, usually starts around $250. So I was real excited that we could get this out in this material, in a more accessible price range too.
Definitely. And if I'm not mistaken, I think when we first designed the pen and we were looking at materials, you immediately knew that this one wasn't one that we could get for the initial release and really in any production capacity in the future. And we were like, what about limited edition? And it was kind of like, you always had hesitations about it because of the quantity.
Yeah.
So
we're really excited.
I don't think we can underplay enough we can overplay enough how great it was to be able to get enough of this, to be able to do this limited edition with this material.
There's a question in the chat real quick. Can we let them know if the nib can be ground to an extra fine or XX fine before shipping, and if so, the cost? I think in the past for limited editions we didn't offer nib grinding, but Brian, this is totally up to you.
I think we can certainly discuss that. Did we not offer that before? I don't remember now.
I think we didn't publicize it, but I
think we did it. What we didn't do was 18 karat upgrades from the previous ones.
I think that was the reverse, because we do offer a gold nib on the Ebonite Premier. I think we did.
I think the extra fine and the double extra fine is a pretty easy answer, though.
Okay.
I have no problem with it as long as people don't have a problem with paying the Goulets for the pen and paying me for the grind.
Yep.
I mean, I know that can be a hassle, but it's so much easier on our paperwork to do it that way, because obviously that's my time with grinds. Although the people that follow my website might remember that in the last 3 or 4 months, I've turned my extra fine and my finer grinds over to Mike Masuyama. So if you wanted an extra fine or a double extra fine or a needlepoint nib on this pen, it can be done by Mike Matsuyama, no problem, but we'll probably separate your bill if you don't mind. It would be $40 for that grind.
$40.
That would go to me, and then the pen cost would go to the Goulets.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that about covers it.
Any other questions? I know we're about to hit 9:30. Any other questions for Brian while he is here with us? Anyone in the chat?
Yeah. Well, we'll see if there's any questions that come in here. I will go ahead and pull up Wayne's number here so I can
that's fine.
just be ready
actually,
for him.
While you're doing that, I just like to say thanks for having me on. I'll hang around in the chat for a little bit.
Sure.
If anybody has any questions, I'll keep my eye open at least for the next 15, 20 minutes, and maybe I'll stick around even longer. Who knows? But of course, you guys can always email me as well. So anyways, thank you to the Goulets. I'm looking forward to this. I've been wanting to do a pen out of this material in a limited production format for a long time. So I'm real happy that this could come together. And thank you, Brian and Rachel.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We're glad to be able to make this happen.
We're excited.
Cool. All right, Brian. Well, we will talk to you later. I don't know how long we'll be on with Wayne. He alluded to the fact that he might not have a lot of time tonight. So, if we run out of things to talk about, we might give you a call and bug you and talk about some silly stuff.
More than happy to do it.
All right. Thanks a lot, Brian.
Thanks.
Right, take care, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
All right.
Take it off speaker, call Wayne.
Yeah. It's pretty much 9:30, so I guess we'll jump right into it. Before I give him a call, I just want to set it up a little bit. The reason we're having Wayne Mullins on, if you've never heard of him, is that he wrote a book called "So You Have a Website Now What." He's a marketing guy, and he customer of ours, fountain pen fan, and he included us in his book. So we ran a contest, and he sponsored it, and now we're going to have him on just to announce the winners, and we'll probably announce the winners after we have him on because he's got such limited time. But yeah, that's kind of the background there. So I'll do a little more introduction once we actually get him on here and kind of talk him up a little bit. But I'll go ahead and give him a call, and I'll have Rachel just kind of fill the dead space while I go and try and give him a call.
Okay. Other news, we're going to be putting together some package sets. We already have some on our site under specials, but we're working on releasing a slew of new ones and revamping some of the current ones. We just took all the pictures today. I need to do all the web programming, so look for those in the next day or so. So if you're looking for Christmas gift ideas or, that sort of thing, or you want to get some bundled items at a slight discount, look for those. If you have any ideas or suggestions of things you'd like to see in package sets, let us know too. What else? We just got a bunch of Ahabs in. You guys probably saw that. 23 new colors of Ahabs and 2 new Conrads. So check that out. What else? Got some new Metropolitans in last week. The Lamy Studio Royal Red should be here in the next week, so that's exciting. We've been waiting for that for a while. Feel weird just talking about myself here. What else is new? Twisby Minis should be restocked in, I'm looking at the calendar, about a week and a half, so right after Thanksgiving. Do some more rants. Brian kind of got mad at me last week for my rants. Not mad, just he frowned upon my rants. So I have to be more careful with what I say because it's live and it's recorded, and I don't want to hurt any relationships with distributors, even though I have strong opinions about things. Will there be 1.1 nibs for the Mini? Not right away, if ever. Hopefully next year. I don't know. What do I think of the Dialogue 3? It's a pretty cool pen. If you're looking for a retractable pen, I think the Vanishing Point is a better value. Even the Vanishing Point Firmo, if you like the twist action, that's a better price too. I think the Dialogue 3 they really went up in price. It's still a good pen. It's a little big. I don't think I would use it. It's still a good pen. It's got I love the Lamy Gold nibs. Yep. Will the new Twisby shipment include the classic? Yes. Excuse me. We'll have all 3 of the mini, so the classic, the black, and the clear. Let's see. Oh, and the 540s, I just found out this weekend that, or not this weekend, this week, the colored 540s are going to be phased out as well. So we knew about the clears. We knew they were going to turn into the 580s. It turns out the colored 540s are being phased out as well. So we're getting one more shipment in about a week and a half. After that, they will be basically discontinued, and the 580 will be released in its place in a couple months. So if you want a 540, you have to get one pretty soon, otherwise they're going to be gone forever. The 580 is supposed to be new and improved, but I also don't know when it's coming out. I don't know what colors it's going to be. They may not continue the blue, orange, and smoke into it. So, if you have your eye on one, pick one up while you can. Can I say more about the Ebonite Conrads? They're coming. They're currently in QC. Nathan has to look at each one by hand. He's got, a couple dozen done, but he needs to ramp up the quantities before they can be released. So, still waiting on those. Still a couple weeks away. It's always a couple weeks away.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm just trying to answer a couple last questions. Will Brian be doing a video on 54th Massachusetts? Yes. He did a review.
I did a review of it. I'll have it up soon.
And will we ever carry the Kaweco? Not until the distributor makes some changes to how they do things. So, without further ado,
everybody, we have a special guest on the phone, Wayne Mullins. He is a marketing guru and the author of the book, So You Have a Website, Now What? And you may have already been familiar with his book because we launched a contest, which Wayne was so gracious enough to sponsor for us, giving away copies of his book as well as fountain pen and a notebook to go along with it so you can take notes. And kind of the reason we're featuring his book, not only is he a customer of ours and we've spoken on the phone several times about marketing-y stuff, but he also was nice enough to include us in his book, which I thought was pretty wild. You know, we're on the chapter about turning a hobby into a profitable business, which is, well, quite literally what we've done. So that was really cool. And without further ado, Wayne is here joining us by phone. So Wayne, say hey to the world here.
Hey Brian, hey Rachel, and hi everybody out there on the World Wide Web. Thanks for inviting me in this evening.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you taking time out of your evening. It's not anything unusual for us to give up our Wednesday night, but we always appreciate it when somebody else is willing to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but first off, I want to thank you so much for including us in your book. It was just when you first mentioned to me that you were going to include us in the book, I honestly thought it was going to be like a footnote somewhere, or that you were going to just
sentence.
you were going to passively mention something. I had no idea that we would be just right in there, right under the chapter title. That was just wild to kind of see my name there. What inspired you about what we do to put us in there?
Well, we work in my business. We work with a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of startups, and oftentimes they'll come to us, with the question of, how do I grow my business? I've got this wonderful idea, and how do I take this and turn it into an actual business? And so, one of the things that we get back to them, we'll kind of outline a plan of action for them. And then one of the things that we often hear back from them is, yeah, but, I can't do this or I can't do that because of the following reasons. And, having followed you guys for, I guess probably about 3 years now.
Three years this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started sharing your story about how, you're in a small apartment, you've got a small little balcony area for a porch, and yet you're not making excuses, you're not allowing your excuses to prevent you from pursuing your passion, pursuing your hobby, and turning it into a business.
Yeah, that's very true. And it's kind of interesting because I don't even know how, but you just happened to kind of start following us from pretty much the beginning.
Pretty early on. This week marks 3 years since we launched Goulet pens as we know it, with paper and ink and such.
Mm-hmm.
Been doing this for 5 years, I guess. 5 years?
Yeah, about 5 years now.
Yeah, you found us pretty early on when we...
that was back when we were still making pens. I was turning pens, and that's kind of where that story fits into your book. Is that's how we kind of got into fountain pens to begin with. We didn't have necessarily a passion for fountain pens in the beginning, but it was just my hobby of woodworking and turning and making pens that kind of we stumbled into
a business
into this. And it's kind of like what you talk about not letting yourself make excuses. I mean, for a good couple of years when we were making pens, the business was going, but it wasn't really doing a lot for us. We were kind of just treading water,
if that.
But it wasn't until we had to kind of just reevaluate what we were doing, and we kind of stumbled into fountain pens that things really started to turn for us. And now obviously here we are.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's that being in tune to your tribe, your community, and their wants and needs, and being willing to let go sometimes of the thing that you think is the thing that the world needs and or wants. And we are great examples of that. Yeah,
even just talking about that brings up some strong emotions, because man, we were really passionate about the pen making for a long time there, and we took some big risks.
Passion. Yeah, it was your passion, and we were trying to make it into something that it just couldn't be.
And it was tough. It was tough to kind of face that wasn't going to be the sole driving factor anymore.
When I finally said, Brian, this is a sinking ship. We need to change course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember when talking to you, in the very, very early days. I mean, this was long before we had any employees. We were running the business out of our house. And it was kind of interesting because I remember you talking about, I think you might have been teaching a college course at the time. And you talked about like using us as an example in there. And I was just like, it really at the time felt like, what are we really doing that's that special? It's like we were just kind of trying to figure things out.
Yeah. I still feel that way. We're still figuring things out.
Whenever I do speak and share your story, it resonates so well with people because, you're both very young. It's a very real world example of somebody who pursues a hobby and then listens to what the community wants and transitions that into obviously a successful, thriving community and business.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And the biggest compliment you can give us is putting us in your book, which is so cool.
So, very, very welcome. So actually how I originally stumbled across you guys was I've always really been into journaling. And so I don't remember specifically what I was searching for at the time, but I was searching for some comparison between journals. And I stumbled across one of your videos. And it was, I think, the rodeo against the, I always say it wrong, Moleskine?
Moleskine, yeah, Moleskin. Moleskin is what
no
most
one really
people call
knows.
it. Yeah.
Yep. And so it was the comparison between the two. And so I think that was when I placed the very first order with you guys and ordered the rodeo. And now I really love the Bada Savannah. Again, excuse me if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly.
No, it's fine.
You're dead on with that one. That's wonderful.
So
that was
carrying several journals at any given point in time to decide which I like the most and what to put in which one.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that was
almost 3 years ago.
That was very early on. That was one of my first like 5 or 10 videos that I did.
You put those out in like January. I think it's probably January of 2010.
Yeah,
it was like in your first 10 videos, and I remember because number 10 was introducing Joseph, who was born at the end of January.
That's right.
So yeah, January, February, almost 3 years ago. That's wild.
Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, sorry, we're in a very nostalgic stage right now because we're just coming up on our 3-year, what we consider to be our 3-year anniversary this Saturday. So we're thinking about
Well,
where
that
we come
and
from.
our 11th anniversary of us is also this week too.
Right.
So yeah, a lot of reminiscing.
Yeah.
Congratulations on both of those.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I also wanted to kind of ask, just like if you wanted to give any background about what you do outside of this book and the pens and that kind of thing. What's been your focus and kind of what led up to you writing a book, because that's pretty awesome feat. Not everybody I know has written a book.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to see like how did this happen? How did it come about?
Yeah. So the quick version is back in 2003. Shortly after graduating from college, I decided to start a business. And grew that business over about a 3-year period, and then I sold that business. And once I sold the business, several friends of mine who own businesses or who I'd kind of become friends with that were business owners started coming to me and asking me for advice on helping them grow their businesses. And, kind of a long journey along the way. But then back in 2009, decided to get into kind of marketing and helping others full time. And started out really with the passion of helping people, small businesses, entrepreneurs, take their business, sounds very cliche, but to the next level, and helping them build kind of a roadmap to get there. Yeah. And very similar to what happened to you guys, as got into the business, started getting a lot of demand, a lot of people asking if we could help with their websites. And so, really never intended to kind of have a website design development company. But now we're launching about a website a week right now. Wow. And it's really kind of, that portion of the business has really dominated in terms of, revenue and the amount of work we're doing.
Yeah, it's a lot of work to build a website. My goodness.
Yeah, we know that all too well.
Yeah. And so that's where this book came from. It's out of the fact that we're building a lot of websites right now, but our passion at the company is really to help people and give them the tools they need to take their business to the next level. So it came from.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's great. That's yeah, you got kind of a similar story there. Very different way of going about it, but that's great. I'm so encouraged to hear of anyone that is just kind of able to follow their passion and kind of create something out of what they really love doing. That obviously resonates with us very well. And it was great to read about the other people that have done that as well.
Yeah, the book isn't all.
It's not all about us by any means. No, we're like a couple of pages in there. There's a lot of good stuff in here. I don't want to give too much away because I want you to buy it. So.
Or if you're one of the 25 people who won one.
Yes.
You'll have it coming your way.
Yeah, which actually we can go ahead and get to that. Part of the reason we wanted to have Wayne on tonight and the way the timing worked out was that he sponsored a contest for us. We're giving away 25 copies. As well as a fountain pen and a notebook to go along with it.
Yep.
And the contest ended on Sunday. We tallied up all the entries and selected winners, and we have those winners to announce here tonight. So if you guys are ready to go, we won't hold you in suspense too much longer.
We'll just read off the list of names. We'll be emailing all the winners to get your address, that sort of stuff. But
there are some winners whose names are kind of close to other people's, so you'll have to be very careful about what you're listening to. What we say is who the winners are, but we will be emailing all of the individual winners. So if you get an email from us, then you've won. But anyway, without further ado, there are 25 winners, and they are Amanda K. Haggy, that's number 1. Nick B, that's number 2. Katie S, that's number 3.
You don't say the numbers.
Okay. The Abyss Within. That's all one word. Now, these are all aliases. These are not actually everybody's names. I don't know. These could be all completely made up. The next one is Peter. Just Peter. There were like 5 different Peter variations in there. But just Peter. Okay. The next one is Shin.
Your hand motions here.
Well, I talk with my hands a lot.
Yeah, I know.
The next one is Korzak. Next is Kelly. Just Kelly, not other things. Just Kelly. You like that hand motion, don't you? The next one is JJ Deal. Next is Achilles Okay, I'm going to say this wrong. Achilles Kontozoglos. Achilles Kontozoglos.
Sounds Greek.
Could very well be.
Oops.
Next is Dave Bissett. Next is Midnight Shadow, all one word. Next is Mark. Just Mark. Next is Lucas J. Then we have Holly. Just Holly. Mark Girard. M. Wachner. It could be Wachner. I'm not sure about how that's pronounced. We'll be emailing you. Jack Bowers. Rantharon. Chris Vig 257.
Or Chrissy VG.
Oh, Chrissy VG 257, excuse me. Next one is John the Monkey. Then we have Greg G. We're almost at the end. Mike.
Just Mike.
Q. That's Kyu. And last one is very fitting. I Love Rodeo.
There you go. Congrats to your 25 winners there.
There you go.
Brian will be emailing you tonight. So, yeah.
Yes, we'll be emailing you, asking for information and all that stuff about where we can send the book.
And if you didn't win, then you need to go out and buy the book and support Wayne.
That's right. The book's only $15. That's, gosh, I can't even tell you how many times I've wasted $15 in my life. But it's a worthwhile read if you have any interest in websites whatsoever.
Growing a business.
Yes. So there you go. I won't plug you too hard because I don't want it to sound like a real hard sell. But really, it's just kind of we wanted to have you on to kind of thank you for throwing us in there, Wayne.
Well, I just want to say thank y'all again so much for the time and for your willingness to kind of do the contest. And for those who didn't win this evening, and kind of as a special anniversary gift to both you guys for one coming up on 3 years and then 11 years your marriage. the first 20 people who send an email to me, I will send them a copy of the book as well.
Wow.
And so the email address they can send it to is admin@uglymugmarketing.com. And if you could just in the subject line put send my book or just some reference to the book, and then in the body of the email, if you would provide all your shipping information, we'd be glad to get those sent out to you guys.
That's very
really
generous.
awesome.
I mean, you've already been so generous with the other books and all the the note-taking materials to accompany them.
Absolutely.
But that's great, Wayne. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. See, you guys didn't even know. I didn't even know until I talked to him right before the broadcast that he was willing to do that.
Just now. That's really awesome.
Yeah, that's really great. Thank you so much, Wayne. That's awesome.
Yeah, very welcome. And thanks so much for the inspiration. And I would highly recommend those out there who are interested in starting a business, growing a business, to carefully watch what others around you are doing. Brian and Rachel are great examples of some people who are very passionate about what they do and are doing an excellent job of connecting with their community.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate the compliments. That's just wonderful.
It's surreal. It's very
Thank
surreal.
you so much again for the invite to be on the call, and I'll let y'all get back to some pens and ink and paper discussions.
All right. Thank you so much, Wayne. We appreciate your time tonight.
Thank
and
you.
Obviously, thank you so much for all your generosity here.
Yeah, bye, guys. Have a great evening.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Wow, that's really cool.
Everything's so surreal.
Yeah, we're getting all nostalgic now. Just thinking about,
how far this business has come.
Yeah, well, it's a very nostalgic time of year anyway, coming up on the holidays. And, Rachel and I actually met at a singing event in high school.
11 years ago.
11 years ago. We were only 17 years old. And, we kind of knew as soon as we met that there was something there. Had we known everything that it would lead to.
I didn't even know when we got married that we would ever work together, much less start a business together.
It's very true.
That's 6 years ago. I had no idea.
It's very true. And it's really cool to hear, about the kind of stuff that Wayne does, is because, it's very just, we live in kind of a bubble doing what we do. I mean, we work a lot. And we're completely immersed in fountain pens, in the fountain pen community. But then when we take a step back and realize that there's passionate people who love,
beads
and knitting and
car parts.
Yeah, it's really wild to think that, like, as obscure as fountain pens is to some people, there are other just little nooks and crannies all over the world that there's other really cool and passionate people doing what they do in those microcosms. And it just kind of blows our mind when we think about that.
I was reading an article about some very small businesses today, and one guy who started a website selling suspenders. That's the only thing he does. He has over 200 varieties of suspenders.
Wow.
But they're very successful.
Wow.
I
would say that's a niche.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's passionate about something.
Wow, suspenders. That's something else.
I mean, everyone's got something.
Yeah. And it's cool too, with the book thing, is I was never a big reader as a kid.
No.
And I'm still not a huge reader, but
you're getting better.
I actually derive a lot of knowledge and inspiration for some of the things that we do by reading, these marketing and business type books, particularly people who tell stories about how they did things. I love reading about, people that started their own companies and more,
or how they
kind
did,
of autobiographical
and things like that.
Yeah. I love reading that stuff. And not so much because I want to copy them or anything like that. It's just, me personally, it just helps to get my juices flowing and get creative ideas when I get inspiration of things. And I might pick up little nuggets here and there about what other people, have done to kind of, expand their world a little bit. So it's really cool. It's really kind of neat, and gosh, you never know. We might be a part of that for somebody else, which is just crazy to think about, because we just haven't been around that long in the grand scheme of things.
I know. It's Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like we've been doing this forever, and sometimes it feels like we're just beginning.
It's only been 3 years since we first got our first Exclair order and started paper and ink on our website.
Yeah.
We've only been carrying pens. Well, we started like Noodler's pens it was about 2 years ago. And like Lamy and Pilot we got like a year and a half ago. It's like, it's wild.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been doing it forever.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's wild. And we want to thank you guys and everybody else everybody's watching the recording, everybody joining us live, just for supporting us and being there for us and enjoying this crazy passion with us. Because it's really, we love the pens and stuff, but it's the people too that are into it as well that make it so fun for us. What are you guys talking about? Sandwiches?
Okay, someone said, Brian, thanks for your reply to my email as to what a hoagie is. And someone said,
yeah.
now I'm hungry. And says, isn't a hoagie a sandwich? And so, no, it's a hoagie. And Sam says, it's definitely not a sandwich. Like, well, it is a turkey, so it could be a sandwich.
Well, I actually had a couple people ask me what a hoagie was, because it was after we did the Meet Team Goulet video. Because a lot of us are Virginia Tech graduates, and the Virginia Tech mascot is a hoagie, which is not really a thing.
It's like a wild turkey.
It's not really
gobbler. It's not really a real thing.
It's not anything. It was.
The mascot's a turkey.
You can see on the Virginia Tech website they have a whole explanation of like the story of where the hoagie came about.
It's a turkey.
It's not. Really.
I mean, the mascot's a turkey.
The mascot is the hoagie bird, which is essentially a turkey. But it was part of a chant that they started like way early on in the days of the university,
1800s,
and it just kind of like developed into hoagie. It just kind of latched on, and then they started bringing a turkey because it was an agricultural school. So they started bringing a turkey to football games, and somehow the hoagie and the turkey just kind of merged together into
hoagie bird.
So it's a very weird kind of story, but oh well, that's where we're from. We're both Virginia Tech graduates.
Yeah.
So not particularly proud to say that, as the football team is
the football
not
team
doing
has
awesome
nothing to do with the quality of our
education.
No,
I know, but some people might hassle us about it. That's okay. We actually don't.
I really don't care. It
Yeah,
has nothing to do with my education.
The games are fun to go to, though.
They are.
They're a lot of fun.
It is fun.
Anyway, wow, we are probably losing people left and right in the chat here. Let's get back to pens.
I was going to say, I was answering a whole bunch of questions in between our two guests.
Okay.
We'll get right back to it. So, fire away. What are your questions about what's going on, what's coming, what's the deal with whatever? I'm going to try not to go on a rant. As I told you earlier, Brian is not a big fan of my rants because I am too honest and I could ruin relationships with what I say. So.
Oh, there we go. See Sam. Gosh, Sam knows everything. Sam is here in the chat with us, and he says the turkey came from the nickname gobblers given to the cadets for how quickly they ate in the chow halls. They became known as the fighting gobblers. That's where the tie with the turkey came.
Someone said tell us more about the prayer italic. So someone, I knew about this, I did not know it was public knowledge, but someone tried one in a pen shop. So Prera italic nibs are going to be coming in 2013, probably by the spring. Definitely be after January. I just don't know when. So I tried one in a pen shop and said it was super smooth. And I said, is it like the Plumix nib? And they said, no, it's a little different. So Prera italic nibs are coming to the U.S. in the spring.
Wow.
So that's exciting.
That is very exciting.
I love italic nibs. There's quite a bit of new pilot stuff coming in the spring. I don't know how much is public yet, so I'm not going to say anything. But we're really excited.
Pilot has been on point lately. They have been coming out with some great stuff.
Question. I have a broken, bent Waterman nib, but don't know its size. Can I send it to you or measure it? We don't really do anything with nib repair or anything.
Please don't send it to us. There's not much we'll be able to do with it.
Or if it can be replaced. I mean, we can carry Waterman pens, but we don't do any nib work. I would encourage you to contact the Waterman distributor, which is Newell Rubbermaid.
Or if it's like a vintage pen, maybe reach out to a Nibmeister or something.
Yeah.
That would be my best.
We definitely wouldn't be able to help with that.
Yeah.
Do you know that the next shipment of the large ink bottles from Noodler's will be before Christmas? Are you talking about like the 16 or 32 ounces? I know we have a couple that Nathan's working on right now for special orders. I just reminded him of those last week. He's a little behind. He's working on a couple right now for some orders that we already have. I know one of them's like 2 months old, but that's about typical. If you want more, let me know, and I'll see if he can get it done before Christmas. But I'll remind him again.
Yeah, those are the ones in the big vinegar bottles.
Yeah.
I got a video on those big Noodler's bottles. We get more shipments. We get shipments of them every so often, but I have one video out there of one particularly large batch that we gotten in.
I love posting my pens, but I heard for the Mach-E that if you keep posting the cap, it could potentially scratch off the art. Is that true? I really want to buy Mach-E, but I'm scared.
I guess over time the possibilities there. I think it depends on the pen.
There's a lot of
they coat it in
a
lacquer.
lot of lacquer, so it would take a lot to ruin the art, I would think.
And usually the lacquer they use over Mach-E is, well, I don't know. It depends on the pen. I'm not a expert on Mach-E. We carry some Mach-E stuff, and I'm kind of familiar with what we carry. All the Mach-E stuff that we have is lacquered over, and I haven't heard of any issues with posting and scratching off. You know, I don't know about like the Sailor Mach-E's and some of the more expensive like Mach-E's if that is the case. But I would say if you're spending a lot of money, like on a true Mach-E, like $1,000 or more, maybe just don't post the pen.
Yeah.
Why risk it? That would be mine.
The person who's talking about the Italic Prera said there's new colors of the Plumix coming in the spring. I hadn't heard that, but that's cool. Also showed the last three were Shizuku colors. I did see they are starting to be available in Japan, and I saw an FPN that someone had posted some writing samples of them. There's a black, a blue black, and a sky blue. I was waiting again on Pilot USA's like blessing to put it on our website. I'll reach back out to them again since it looks like it's. I mean, the beans have been spilled. They've been spilled for a while now.
We didn't spill them.
No, we didn't.
We're just pushing them around on the floor.
They are hoping that they will be here late December. So, fingers crossed.
More realistically, probably January. That's what we were initially told, I think.
Well, initially they said December, and then they said they're hoping. They said not before January, but now he said late December.
Okay.
So we'll see. You know.
And when we get them in, we'll do pictures and swab and the whole shebang. I might actually do a review on these because they're so highly anticipated.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about them. They look, I mean, I've seen some spoiler reviews and stuff on Fountain Pen Network or whatever, and they look
really cool.
They look nice.
Let's see. Sorry if this already answered. Any updates on the new TWSBI Economy pen? They're just prototyping it right now, so the earliest you're going to see it would be probably a year from now. Maybe next summer if they're ambitious, but it'll probably be next fall. No,
TWSBI shows the stuff they prototype like well in advance.
Sometimes even 2 years. Like
the
VAC
700
took
was
2 or 3 years. The Clear, oh yeah, that's the other thing. The Clear 700, they're hoping by Christmas. So it's been pushed back another month. So they're hoping to see it by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. We'll keep you posted. I mentioned earlier that we'll be restocking on the minis in about a week and a half, and that we're receiving the last batch of 540s, and then they'll be cleared out to make room for 580s. I think y'all mentioned this a long time ago, but have you fixed the most popular ink sorting? Yeah, I fixed it a long time ago. We try to refresh it periodically because it's a manual thing. So for what they're talking about, on our website, with anything, you can sort by most popular items. However, you would think it would be something automatically built in based on our sales that the website would automatically calculate. It's not. It's a value we have to manually input. So we have to periodically pull our sales, match everything up, input a number back in so that it can be sorted. So we do it maybe once a month or two. It's been a while. I'll see if we can get that done this week.
If it's products that have been around for a little while, you know,
it should be more or less
popular
correct.
Doesn't change
New
too much.
products might not fit in there well, or if things have changed over time. But yeah. Quick question: does ink drop ship to the UK? Might be moving there, but want to keep getting it. Yep, we ship to all countries. We have quite a few customers in the UK. It does take a couple weeks to get there.
And it does cost a little bit more to ship overseas if you're moving from the U.S.
It's
to the
$12.50 a month for ink drop instead of $10 if you're outside the U.S. and Canada.
But if you're moving from the U.S. to the U.K., you're gonna have to get used to paying more for everything.
Well, it's true.
It's an expensive place to live. So I've heard.
More questions.
There's some questions we missed here, like about carrying pen stands. We do have pen cases. Every now and then I get asked about pen stands. The honest truth is just there's not necessarily great sources for pen stands. Most of the pen stands that I find are like
really
cheap Taiwanese type, Vietnamese made, not really high quality things, or they're like the Zach Zaguri type, bronzed or whatever, expensive things that just have had limited interest. So if you're interested in anything particular, let me know and I'll investigate.
There's a bunch more questions. Do you have plans to do another interview with Nathan Tardif? I still go back and listen through the one you did a year or so ago. Still waiting on the thermoreactive ink too. We've done a couple interviews with Nathan, actually. I think at least 2.
We've done 2, yeah.
Yeah, we need to. Actually, we talked to him today. We should have mentioned it.
Well, he's so stinking busy these days. I hate to bug him because
I want him to sleep.
Every hour we take away from him is ink that's not made and pens that aren't made, and it's he's a one-man show. So he needs to be doing his work to get the stuff made. So we try not to bug him any more than we really have to. But maybe we'll talk to him if there's something really worth talking about. Like maybe we'll let the new inks kind of simmer for a while and get out there.
And all the new pen models that just came out and stuff.
Yeah. And if there's something exciting that he's gonna have coming out, that would be good.
Or if we do our next exclusive.
Yeah.
So we'd love to. We just, we want to respect his time and stuff.
And I think he'd be willing to do it.
Oh, I know he would.
I think he would. We just want to be respectful of his time.
Yeah. Question: could we somehow filter lined paper by lining size, 8mm, 5mm, 7mm, etc.? I'm working on it. I had to compile all the data into a format that I could manipulate and stuff. So now that I have it, I'm going to work on that, as well as like pen stuff. I just put up like nib type, like steel or gold. I'm going to do like pen color. So if you want to find a demonstrator, you want to find a black pen, and then, things like that. So I'm working really hard on that. It's a lot more complicated to program, but yeah. Yes, I did say next exclusive, but we haven't even discussed ideas yet. I just mean if we did one in the future, definitely we would have him to talk about that. But we haven't even discussed it yet, so I don't want anyone to get ahead of themselves.
We probably would have had him on when we came out with Liberty's Elysium had we been doing Right Time.
Yeah, that's true. We weren't even.
We were on a hiatus from Right Time when we came out with that ink, but that would have been a wonderful opportunity to have him on.
Yes.
I'm kind of wishing that we had done that now that I think about it. But
the filters on our website I'm working on, as well as the package sets I mentioned earlier. That's like my project for this week. I want to get all that stuff done by Thanksgiving and all the madness of the holiday. What would I have to do to get a handwritten note by you? You mean like Brian?
Just ask for it in your order
comments. Just put in your order comments. He can.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah. Alex does most of them, but we all share the
We pick them up every now and then, but obviously for writing notes we're not getting other things done, so we try to spread the load around a little bit. But if you want anything done, or like
somebody asked for a drawing by me, it was bad. They specifically wanted me to do a drawing. So I drew what I do best. I did a smiley face stick figure. I did a couple flowers. I did some curly cues, and it was really bad. Yes, Alex, it's a girl. What are your guys' favorite demonstrator pen? And I wonder if they all leave a ring of ink accumulating near the base of the nib where they join the feed. Favorite demonstrator pen?
I mean, my favorite pen, period, is a Custom 74.
That's
a Pilot
a
Custom 74, which is a demonstrator.
Yeah.
So that would be it. Does it leave a ring of ink accumulating near the base of the nib? They join the feed? I mean, what's interesting is that sometimes I get questions about, people who have demonstrators or pens where the grip section is clear. And they wonder about ink being in the feed or like ink being on top of the nib and stuff like that. And it's like, that's totally normal. All pens do that. You just don't normally see it because the grip sections of most pens are not clear. So some people wonder if their pen is broken or something because there's ink like all up around the feed and it looks kind of crazy in there. It's totally normal. That's just how demonstrators just show that, better than typical pens, So I don't think that any, the the Pilot Heritage 92, that's a good one. Custom 823, they're all good. Pilot
makes awesome pens. I'm just putting it out there. They make awesome pens.
I actually got a video. If you look at the video of the Heritage 92, I show the Pereira, the Custom 74, the 92, and the 823 in that video, and I write with them all. So that was a pretty comprehensive video I did there.
One of the pens that is on my long wish list is the Pilot Vanishing Point, but the clip near the grip kind of bothers me because I tend to grip my pens tightly. How is it for you when you write with it?
Vanishing Point. The clip doesn't bother me.
It's a little weird for me because of my Bizarro grip.
You hold with 4 fingers, and that's why. So you definitely are touching that clip.
It bothers me a little more than it does you.
Yeah, me with my Vanishing Point, my forefinger kind of just rests right on the side of the clip, but my thumb and my middle finger don't touch it at all. So for me, it doesn't bother me at all. In fact, it actually kind of just gives me a nice little placeholder to kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Grip?
Yeah, well, it helps me grip it, but it helps me to just find like the right position to hold a pen. You know, some pens like the Lamy Safari
ergonomics
are like have like like indentations in the pen so that you hold it in the right orientation. Orient, I think that's the right word I was looking for. It helps me orient the pen.
Couple other questions. Any plans to carry the Pilot 78G? It's discontinued. It's not available in the U.S. So no.
Yeah, I think they're not making it at all anymore.
Yeah.
So whatever you see is old stock.
Old stock. Random people who have it. And it's not even on the Pilot website anymore. So it's discontinued a while ago.
Yeah.
What would you say is the closest thing to the 5x8 Webby but has white lined paper? So like an A5 journal with white paper. Leuchtturm?
Leuchtturm's not white.
It's off white. You're right.
There are very few bound journals that have white paper.
Everyone switched to ivory.
Yeah.
I like
the
white.
Havana would have been it, but they don't make them in white anymore. The closest thing I know would be black and red.
This is water.
Oh, that's water.
It's just a fancy thing to keep it cold.
It's 18 ounces of wine. I've been getting drunker as we've been going here.
Oh, you're pretty even keel drunk. No, it's water.
Kidding. It's water. We're talking a lot, so I get thirsty.
Snapple.
Yeah. What was I talking about? Oh, black and red would be the only thing that I know that has white paper. And their journals aren't as good, but the paper's okay actually.
Yeah, there really aren't a lot with white paper.
No, there aren't. It's kind of a shame. I really like white paper personally.
I do too. The colors just pop.
See, I'm an inkophile, so for me, I love to see the pop and the true color of the ink, which is white paper. When you use off-white paper, it kind of subdues the color a little bit.
This is talking about my drink. It's a Diet Snapple half and half. Arnold.
It's like an Arnold Palmer kind
lemonade,
of thing.
iced tea.
It's good.
But diet, so it's not like too sweet.
Yeah, it's good.
10 calories. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
They didn't have a non-diet version. It's just what was there. It's good. I like it.
Yeah.
No, I have no alcohol. I haven't had alcohol in like 4 years.
Yeah, we don't drink.
That and having kids and nursing and all that kind of puts a damper on things.
Yep.
Even if I wanted to, I'm saying. I don't even have the option.
That would do it. Yeah. Just not real big on it.
No.
Nothing really opposed to it, just not big on it. Yeah.
Any other questions?
I think we're pretty well wrapping up here. We're at a pretty good stopping point.
Newsletter will be out tomorrow, so we will have in writing all the latest timelines and all the new stuff and coming soons and stuff.
Metropolitan.
Someone is asking, what was the question earlier? About like more reviews and stuff. Have you done a video review yet?
Of the Metropolitan?
You shot it, but it hasn't been posted.
I was exporting it today. That's what I was working on.
It's coming.
Oh, one thing I want to talk about
is it the same shirt he wore last week? Probably.
Oh, I've got a whole closet full of flannel shirts.
But it could be the same one.
Oh, very well could be. Yeah.
We did laundry since last week.
Yeah. We do laundry every now and then. We have 2 kids. We do a lot of laundry. What I was going to say is that in my videos, you'll probably notice that the quality of my videos on YouTube will be improving. Learning some new stuff, getting into some new programs, and we'll be exporting the videos now in full 1080p. So if you want to see
better than our TV broadcasts.
yes, it's pretty high quality stuff. So we already had pretty decent quality, but we're stepping it up even more. So watch for. Well, you can see it today on the Ahab video that I put out, the 23 new Ahab colors. Check that video out and see if you like that quality, because you're gonna start to get a lot more of that. Of course, YouTube gives you the option of watch it at different qualities, but you can select all the way up to 1080.
Someone's asking if the Noogler's Neponsit, the one that was a giveaway with the rum burning bottles for the ink contest, will ever be a regular run pen. And I said, yeah, someday. It's just not ready yet. Nathan is just always working to perfect it. He's been talking about it for a long time. I'm not saying it's never going to come. It's just it's a ways away.
Yeah.
Ever heard of the ink spots? No.
I don't know what that is.
Mm-mm. What is your favorite kind of music and or band, if applicable?
Oh gosh. I bounce
Depends
around.
on your mood.
I bounce around. I listen to a lot of different things. I've gone through country phases. I've gone through. I'm not in a country phase right now.
No.
I can definitely appreciate classic rock. I listened to classic rock for a long time. Leonard Skinner, and Led Zeppelin, and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I could definitely appreciate alternative rock.
That's my favorite.
Our teen years were in the 90s, so we very much grew up with Foo Fighters and Creed and those types.
Yeah, we went from the hip hop to the grunge to alternative. Yeah, alternative's still my favorite.
Yeah. I listened to a lot of hip hop back in the day. Not really a fan of any one particular. I listened to Nelly. That'll date me pretty well.
The reason is because you had a ridiculous car stereo.
I was really into car audio.
To the point where you rattled off your rear view mirror.
I did. To Magic Stick. That was the song that rattled off my rear view mirror. I would set off car alarms.
Someone's asking, do you do the focusing on your videos, or is it done by someone else who holds the camera? And Sam said, you're a one-man production operation on the videos. It's on a tripod.
That's right.
Autofocus, right?
I do. I have a tripod between my legs. And
when you're doing the table shots.
Yeah. I get very close and romantic, and I kind of hug my tripod as I'm shooting the videos. It's a very interesting kind of setup. But
it's bizarre.
It works.
It does.
It works. If it was somebody holding it, then you would see a lot more movement. The tripod works really well because it's very stable and you can get really good detail. Because, I can sit there and talk about the pens and show my face all day long, but what you really want to see is the detail on the pens. So that's where I try to keep the focus.
Some say the ink spots are way before our time. No.
Is that a band? I think that might be a
band. Some say they're intrigued by your sound system. What, the two 15-inch subs in your trunk?
Oh, you want to get into my sound system? Okay.
This is in college. His stereo was literally worth more than the car.
It was.
I don't know what that says more about.
I don't know. I got really into car audio.
I'm saying it's not like you had this $20,000 car and 50,000 stereo. It's not like that.
No, it was a cheap car. It was a cheap car.
Under $5,000.
I had a 1992 Oldsmobile Royale 88.
Yep.
It was a big boat. It was actually a pretty decent car.
It was a good car.
It was a pretty decent car. I really enjoyed it, but it had a huge trunk. And so I had two 15-inch Rockford Fosgate HE2s in there, which are now ancient history.
Well, at the time, this was 2004 or so.
Yeah. I had a big 1,000-watt amp in there with a capacitor and all that stuff.
So they just got rear-ended by one of those. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's a beast of a car to get hit by. It's kind of a monster. Yeah, but I had a loud stereo system. I had kind of the whole get-up. I had all the other speakers and CD player and all that stuff. It's funny, yeah. I had a CD player. Nowadays, it's you don't even listen to CDs. Mm-hmm. They didn't have. Well, gosh, back when I had that, I think the iPod hadn't even come out yet.
No, we can't fill the back of the Aztec with speakers because that's where the double stroller and all the diaper bags and.
I've thought about it though. If we decide to go up to a minivan or something, if we decide to go up to a minivan and we don't want to get rid of the Aztec, totally trick
convert
that thing.
It to
just trick it out into a.
That's just dumb though. The only music we ever listen to now is VeggieTales, Sunday school songs. And,
yeah.
Which I need to get. I mentioned this last week. We need to get a Christmas music CD so Joseph can learn some Christmas songs.
We need to get anything else besides that VeggieTales CD.
He loves it.
We've literally listened to the same VeggieTales CD
200 times.
for over a year.
It's just on repeat.
For a year, that CD has not come out of the car.
Repeat.
And if we start the car, if that music doesn't come on in 5 seconds,
if I turn it off,
Joseph asks, he's like, "Where's the music? Where's the music? VeggieTales." And he starts to get teary. We're like, all right,
He
we'll turn
literally
VeggieTales
just
on.
breaks down. So yeah,
Oh
just
my gosh.
they love that. Yeah, I need to get a Christmas. I bet there's a VeggieTales Christmas CD out there.
Probably.
He would love that.
But really, it's like, okay,
Christmas songs are Christmas songs.
we don't want to like discourage him from listening to VeggieTales. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like good stuff for
I
him to
know.
listen to.
I know.
So,
I love hearing him sing. We talked about that last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we are digressing.
Say, I grew up on Christian contemporary music. I didn't listen to anything on mainstream radio until I was like probably 16 or 17.
Yeah.
And even then it was like not anything
Like
bad.
crossover bands like Switchfoot and Creed and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right.
No, I loved it. I loved my childhood. Christmas shoes.
Oh my
That
gosh.
song
Oh my
just
gosh.
cracks me up.
Drew
I
asked
did
me.
see I saw Petra live.
Drew, okay, Drew's funny. You most of you have seen Drew now. He loves to just ask random questions all the time. He like goes around and just asks all of our staff random questions. His question for me today was, what is the one Christmas song that you hate the most? Like mainstream Christmas, or like that you find the most annoying?
Christmas
Like
shoes.
the most, and I was trying to remember, I was like, there's one that's like really
it's
sappy.
It's like the butterfly kisses
Of Christmas. I mean, it's okay. Christmas Shoes is like a good story, but it's like it's too much.
Too sappy.
It's too much. That's a good one. I'll have to tell Drew about that tomorrow. Oh man.
Christmas shoes. Oh man.
I can't remember what his
Now it's
was.
gonna be in my head all night.
Yeah. Drew said one that was pretty good. Oh, Wonderful Christmas Time was Drew's. That's a Paul McCartney. Yeah. He does not like that song. It's funny.
Oh man.
Never heard of Christmas Shoes?
Look it up.
Oh my gosh.
Look it up.
Okay. I mean, it's a good song. It's sweet, but it's
just too sappy.
when you hear it like for the third time, you're like, all right.
Grandma got
okay.
run over by a reindeer. That's a pretty bad one too.
That was actually my grandmother's favorite song. She loved that song.
That's so bizarre.
I don't know. She loved it.
Oh man.
She loved that song.
Yeah. I'm sure you guys can Google, and I'm sure there's lots of.
Oh yeah, go to YouTube and look up Christmas Shoes. I'm sure somebody has.
Your grandma hated it. Yeah, every mother hates it, but that's
My
really
grandma
funny.
loved it. It was her favorite. Oh, I don't know.
Anyway.
It's weird. Oh, we got a link there. Oh, good.
Have we heard anything about the Twisby Vac ink bottles? Haven't heard anything about them for a while now. No.
Yeah, they kind of like mentioned something about it a while ago, but I haven't
I
even
don't
seen a
know.
prototype.
Maybe when clear ones come out. I've also heard nib units might come out with the clear ones, but it won't until they come.
I haven't heard anything about the VAC bottles in a long
I
time.
figured we'd see something on their Facebook page, but they haven't mentioned it in a while.
Hmm.
They haven't mentioned it to me. I feel like they would tell me if they were coming.
Was that different than like, wasn't there going to be some kind of like,
It's like the 540 bottle, but it's built to like fit the VAC 700.
okay.
So,
Yeah, I haven't heard anything.
yeah. No.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I think we'll go ahead and wrap up. I think we've
Yeah,
come
we're
to a
talking
good
about sappy
conclusion.
Christmas songs.
Yeah. It's not even Christmas yet. We got a ways to go before.
I know. We're gearing up.
They're playing it at like all the stores and everything already. I mean,
I
it's like
know.
as soon as Halloween ended, it's like.
Would we
just going for
ever
it.
consider or also consider carrying Twisby ballpoints and or mechanical pencils?
Pencils?
I said the A and the ballpoint. Oh, gosh.
Sorry, that just sounded really funny.
I just misspoke. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe. We've tried ballpoints and rollerballs before, and, like, unless they take fountain pen ink, like, they just really don't sell well for us. So, probably not. We might be able to special order them, you know.
Maybe.
I mean, if they have them
Do
readily
they even have them?
available.
I haven't even really, like...
Yeah, they have them. We've never paid attention because we just have a fountain pen crowd.
We honestly don't get a lot of interest in ballpoints or pencils.
No.
Very rarely.
And if they do, it's like the refillable kind. But like, by the way, we have access to like if you want a shape, like we special ordered the Schaefer Ferrari, like
The box set.
Yeah, like with a ballpoint and pencil, or like if you want a Lamy rollerball or pencil or what, a ballpoint, like we can get all that stuff.
Or we recently special ordered like a Pelican M600 605.
Yeah, any brand we carry, we can special order stuff for. So
yeah, we do a lot of special orders.
Yeah, financially, we just cannot stock everything, and we don't want to overextend and grow too quickly. Yeah. We want to go where you guys demand us to go. But if you ever have interest in anything special, if it's a brand we carry, we can get it. And there's other brands that we have access to, Conklin and like Delta. Well, Delta Weaving, but like there are some brands that we can order from. We just don't currently have.
Yeah.
Waterman pens or Parker pens or Caran d'Ache. Yeah, we have access to Caran d'Ache too. Are Conklins still made? Yep.
Conklins, well, they're not still made. They've had a resurgence. Conklin was an old brand from the early 1900s, and they died off a while ago. But they're being brought back. Yeah,
I said Monteverde makes Conklins. They're under the same branch, under the same distributor. Delta, Conklin, Monteverde, and Stipula are all under the same distributor. So we have access to all that stuff.
Yeah, we've considered carrying Conklin. I've had a few people ask me about them.
We've ordered some Stipula pens, and and Delta. We did a Delta, a couple Deltas for someone before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, I'm gonna get some package sets up pretty soon. Hopefully tonight, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
If you guys want to see stuff, let me know. Yeah.
Those flashes.
Are we broadcasting next week?
Are we?
The night before Thanksgiving.
I think we could.
Yeah.
Or we could take off. I don't know. I don't see why we shouldn't.
Are you guys going to be here next week? I mean, we'll be here if you guys are going to be here.
I don't see why not. I mean, we'll be in town.
No, not me. Yes. Okay, well, we got a couple people. All right, we'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll be here.
Some people might be traveling, but...
If you missed the announcement of the winners for the contest, we'll post on the blog tomorrow. And all the winners will be contacted via email as well.
I shouldn't have shown the pen. I'm confusing people now. This is the Edison Nouveau Encore that we just announced tonight, earlier in the broadcast.
It's on our website now.
Yep. Go check out Edison Nouveau Encore on our site.
Well, if you go to new products, it's the first thing listed.
Yes.
So.
We had Brian Gray earlier on about an hour ago.
You can watch the replay tomorrow if you missed it.
Yep. We'll be posting that. With the way that we're doing our video now, it's going to end the recording as soon as I end the broadcast. So I'll have to say goodbye, and we won't have bonus time
No
anymore.
bonus time.
So for all of you who
we can
enjoyed
keep going in the
time,
chat.
yeah. So anyway, thank you all so much. It was great to see everybody again and talk to you. Thanks for being so cool and spending time with us. I'm still just amazed that you guys even want to talk to us.
Shark Bigs.
Oh, Shark Bigs.
Had to get a shout out in there.
Maybe I've thought about doing hidden inside jokes and stuff on my whiteboard when I do my videos. I thought about throwing Shark Bigs up there. A lot of people would get really confused, but maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll start trying to solicit some inside jokes from you guys so that I can start throwing them up on the videos. That'll be fun.
We could think of.
I think we got some that we could start throwing in
Christmas
there.
Mouse, and someone mentioned the lime popcorn. I forgot about that.
The what?
The lime popcorn?
Oh my gosh, that was a long time ago.
And that's why we thought we had the mouse, because of the popcorn.
Was that the same broadcast?
Yeah.
That's back when we used to make popcorn during the broadcast. People didn't like that.
And ate it in her garage.
People didn't like that with us eating during our broadcasts.
No.
I don't know. We've come a long way. All right, everybody. We're going to end it for tonight. Again, this was November 14th, 2012.
Yep.
What? I almost said 11 because 11 is the month November.
Yes.
Anyway, November 14th, 2012.
The chatoyance of a mouse in an Aztec.
Wow. Aztec.
Squid clip.
Yep. All right. Well, we're going to end it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you especially to Brian Gray and Wayne Mullins for joining us in the broadcast. Super, super awesome to do that. We'll contact all the winners of the So You Have a Contest. And I guess we'll see you guys back here next week.
Yep.
Right. Everybody have a good week leading up to Thanksgiving, and we'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.